Good morning, Chandni. Welcome to the Paradigm Shift. We're so honored to have you on this platform.
Thank you so much, Deepshika, for having me.
So let me just quickly read a little bit about you. Commandant Chandni Bhatnagar is a retired short service commissioned officer of the Indian Coast Guard with 14 years of distinguished service. She's the first woman in history of Indian Coast Guard to receive all three top commendations for exemplary service. A pioneer in maritime operations, she served as the first female deputy officer in charge of MRCC Mumbai, led and coordinated high-stake maritime rescues, contributing to save over 1,400 lives, which is fabulous, earning a special recognition from the Chief Minister of Delhi. She played a key role in major search and rescue and intelligence missions, including India's then largest narcotics seizure worth 35 billion rupees. Another exemplary achievement. The Pawan Hans helicopter crash investigation and multiple such piracy response and coastal security operations. During her tenure, she coordinated intelligence efforts that contributed to 40% reduction in piracy incidents, which is amazing. Actively championed gender sensitization and diversity and the visibility of women officers within the service. Represented the Indian Coast Guard in numerous national and international maritime forums, engaging with partners across the world. She's an author of 2 books, The Sea Within. I have my copy. You should get yours. It's available on Amazon.
Yeah.
And the other one is Time and Tide, both published in 2025, exploring leadership, resilience, and reflection from the sea. Welcome again, Chandni. I'm so honored to have you on our platform.
Thank you again, Deepshika, for me also to tell about what my life has been and how the experience has been in those 14 years. I would like that to reach out to people and especially to the maritime sector wherein, people really need that focus on their mental and emotional and physical health. So I'm also looking forward to this talk of ours.
Absolutely. तो बताइए कि, आप जैसे what is your, I'm so curious to know कि आपका पेरेंटिंग, आपका चाइल्डहुड, आपका स्कूल लाइफ, आपका बचपन कैसा हुआ, कैसा घटा कि जैसे, you have got into a line like this where you have done wonders. So, let's start from the beginning.
So in my childhood was, I was a really happy child and my childhood was truly beautiful. So both my parents were in government jobs and we had very simple routines, strong values, strong discipline, and those memories still make me smile. And, whenever we used to come back from school, मेरी मम्मी एक पूरी letter लिख के जाती थी मेरे लिए, which has a check-off list that what all I need to me and my brother. My brother is 4 years elder to me. What all we have to do when she comes back, she will check. So it was a very simple routine, but we knew that we have a very check-off list. Everything was timeline. Everything was timeline, and according to that, I think so that me and my brother has imbibed in this, and also my mom was quite ahead of her time. So I'm telling you about late 80s when the government has introduced computers in their whole setup, central government. So she was the first one to be selected for that, and I have seen that progressive kind of things wherein she has excelled by managing the professional and personal things at home. So I think so I've picked up that from her, and my childhood has been always, like I said, ki bahut happy-go-lucky thi, and I had an elder brother who was my first friend in the world, and you can imagine he was very energetic and he was always playful. वो सारे तरह के games खेलता था and मैं उसकी Stephanie थी. So like he used to always carry me. He always used to carry me if he's going for cricket match or if he's going for some birthday of his friends. I was always there. So I think so that really helped me, inculcate some of the competencies of being, confident and having a good social circle. And meanwhile, वो 1980s में parents का होता है ना कि एक बेटा है तो वो engineer बनेगा और बेटी है तो वो doctor बनेगी. वो set है वो सबका. That is a stereotype. So my brother is an engineer. And
So you are supposed to be the doctor.
yes. So my father has played a very important role. He has always been so supportive, and my mother wanted me to be a doctor, but my father said, whatever you feel like, you go ahead. We are there with you. And when I joined the armed forces, I told my mom, I cannot give you the white coat of the doctor's uniform, but this is my white uniform with pride. And
Oh.
I think so that how it has converted, and my childhood has been amazing. And I was a mischievous one because I was a younger one. So I already knew I will have it all.
Okay, so like you said, engineer and doctor. So normally क्या होता है कि families में सब engineers होते तो engineer बन जाते, सब doctors होते तो engineers. So आपके family में you said government services your parents were in, but did you have anybody in the armed forces or anything? How did this come along?
No, nobody in my family was there in, armed forces. There was no background as such. I think so. During the time 2003 or 2005, there used to be a program named as Sara Akash on Star TV, which used to be telecasted. And I think so. I was in eighth or ninth. So, and when I saw that, and during that time, parents are already contemplating what they will take. Their marks are coming good. They will take science, or we should also, get them PCMB. They will get into medicals and non-medicals, and all these talks, because we have our cousins who are of similar age, and they are also picking up their careers. Like after 11th, you are supposed to be in some stream, commerce, humanities, or science. So the
Right.
talks are already there, and I saw Sara Akash, and I was like just surprised, like I was in awe with that. Yes, the plus
Wow.
it was like, wow, what is this world? I want to join this. And I think so that time that seed has germinated already. In the back of my mind, it was already going, because 11th, 12th mein to kuch nahi kar sakte. Once we come out and then we are able to perform, and then we may also have a say to tell our parents that,
Right.
because during that time it was like not that was kind of a space wherein very less females used to venture out, so it was,
Absolutely.
yeah. So it has always been like this, and the movies like Kargil and On Border, and it used to give you goosebumps then when that national flag used to come. So it's like
Yes.
I have to do something different, and I always believed in doing something different, having a different perspective, taking things in a way that
Right.
nobody has attempted before. So my mindset was that, because that was always a child. Children are like that. But yes, with the time it matured, and I decided onto that. Yes, this is my calling.
Okay. So how did Coast Guard come into the play? You said about this serial. And what was that moment like for your family? I'm sure there must be a thoda sa shock, thoda sa happiness, all kinds of things. So how was it for you and your family?
Yes. So in 2010, I was doing my post graduation in public relations and marketing, and parallelly I was preparing for government exams. So जो भी exams आते थे, Army, Navy, Air Force, CDS, UPSC, for civil servants, and every possible form which was there, I filled in, because I was like, कि कुछ ना कुछ तो crack करना ही है, because that was my
Right.
chance to do that. And I had filled forms, and all of a sudden, in a newspaper, the Coast Guard advertisement popped up. So the visibility of Coast Guard was increasing. So after 26/11, the Coast Guard visibility has increased. They wanted more workforce, because they were having and acquiring a lot of ships and aircrafts, and they wanted a good major workforce. And that is how I came across that. And earlier they used to tell me, it is similar to Navy, but the charters and the duties of both the services are very different. Until date, when you meet people, you really need to make them understand that how important Coast Guard is, and don't mix it with Navy. The roles are very
Please
different.
tell us. Please, while you're on this, please tell us what is the difference. So there will be a little bit of, people will understand what's the difference.
So Coast Guard is a law and maritime safety agency. It has a lot of charter of rules, wherein the search and rescue comes in, which is very important part, and safety of life and property at sea. And also they help us in. They're we can have a podcast later on about this, about the Charter of Duties, because they are the unsung heroes, to be honest. Like, they are very small incidents, but which make a really big difference in the life of maritime sector.
But in every Hollywood and Bollywood movies, I have seen the Coast Guard coming in, there will be some people trying to escape, and there will be the Coast Guard a speedboat or a ship that will come in, kind of nab the criminals. So I'm sure they have enough standing in the, in the movie industry at least.
Yes, you should thank to Family Man. They started the whole Family Man episodes series with the Coast Guard. So, now, as I'm saying, during that time, the visibility was not such. We were just venturing out, and I was like, this is my calling. So the advertisement I read, I filled the form, and the exam is similar like Army Navy's SSB. You have the screening test, you have that psychological test, interview, group test and everything, and you go through that entire process, and medicals, which is very important. So like, if you have crossed everything and medicals are not clear, then all your effort is also a waste. So that is a very a long process wherein you get through. And I think so it has been more than 1 month I didn't got a response from them after clearing my medical, and then a joining letter comes at my home, and my mother, when she was coming back from office, she's like, something has come from you from Coast Guard. I opened it and I was like, joining Indian Coast Guard, and that was the turning point in my life, wherein घर का सबसे छोटा बच्चा होता है, वो घर से बाहर जा रहा है, तो सबको लगता है कि अरे how will she manage? And I knew from my childhood I can manage.
Right. That's great. And I think here we need to thank your brother for, taking you everywhere, to the cricket match, to everywhere, so that he kind of, gave you that, when you were saying the physical exam. So I said, okay, you need to thank your brother for that. He must have made you do all the PT in the world with all those, all the sports and everything. Fabulous. So can you tell me a little bit about the training days? Because what year did you join, Chandni?
I joined in Indian Coast Guard in 2010.
Okay.
And, yes.
Sorry. So 2010 mein, how many women, how many ladies, young ladies like you were there in a classroom?
When I joined, I was just 21 years old, and we joined the Asia's largest academy, Indian Naval Academy, which is in Kerala. And again, the number of women officers were very less. We were 34.
Oh, 34. I was saying 2.
No. We were 34, but the ratio was 300. 300 males and 34. So you can just 10%. And few left. So approximately 10%. So that is how, जब number small होता है तो सबकी नजरें आप पे होती है कि एक गलती आपने की and you will be caught cold. So, they can count you on hands, and it was, divided into 2 classes. So half of the lady officers were in one class with other people. So the training is similar. So in training, there is nothing like gender. You will be given less punishment, or you will be given more punishment. So it is nothing like that. But yes, definitely it is a life-changing, mental, physical, emotional changing for you, because you're not with your family, and the whole routine is so tight. Like, it starts from morning 5 and it goes till 12. And you just get 5 hours of yours wherein you have to look after, you have to clean your uniform, you have to make things ready for the next day, you have to study for the next class, and then you have training, tests. So this is a cycle of 52 weeks, which is repeated every single day. And hardly you'll get 1 Sunday or 2 Sunday free if by luck your commandant is like, okay, we need to give them rest. But that 52 weeks of continuous, progressive, repeated training is what shapes you to an officer,
Right.
And I should also say that the credit in here, I would like to bring out that when we used to run along with our male counterparts, they were also being told, don't run like a woman trainee, because there were some lady officers who were faster than our male counterparts.
Okay.
So yes, definitely. So it is all embedded in a male's mind that you are physically strong and girls are emotionally strong, because आपको बचपन से ही आपको पुश करा जाता है कि फिजिकली एंड आप घर पे रहते हो और गर्ल्स के लिए उनके सपने, उनके इमोशंस की बाउंड्री होती है.
करेक्ट करेक्ट.
तो वो इमोशंस इतना सिंक इन कर लेते हैं, वो अंडरस्टैंड कर लेते हैं कि मेरे जो इमोशंस हैं या जो मेरी लाइफ के अंदर जो करियर पाथ मुझे चूज करना है, दैट विल हैव अ लॉट ऑफ बैरियर्स एंड they try to pat themselves emotionally that it's okay. So that is ingrained in male counterparts and female, and that is how we have seen that party. If a lady officer is running, that have shame, she's running faster than you, and that is a kind of a kick which they get and they start running fast.
Okay.
So we have seen all that part. So training was almost similar for both of male and female.
Right.
It was clearly amazing, fantastic. For example, if you have seen Karate Kid, so there are few moments which repetitively you do, and it gets into your mind, and your mind clocks it that this is what will be our next step, like in 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 week, and you get accustomed to it. And when you move out, when there's a passing out parade, all of us feel like we don't want to leave academy. And the very first day, we just want to run away from it. And on the last day, we want to be in forever.
Absolutely. I've seen that in retreats when we have our prana retreats. That's like that. Dur and all that, and by the 5th day everybody is like crying pots because there has been so much release and all that. But I can understand because we have seen some movies. We can only, and I have a lot of family that is has served the armed forces, army, navy and air force, and still serving. And I've heard stories like this, trainings where you had to go out on drill, survive on whatever that you got to eat, so snakes and all kinds of things. So I'm sure you've been through the drill. And the serial आपके टाइम पे नहीं था, फौजी, शाहरुख खान का फौजी.
Yes, I've seen that also. Yes.
Yeah, so I'm sure whatever little, and then of course Hollywood films. But so now when you finished your training, like you said, okay, the training was, when you actually moved into your job profile as a young lady officer, what were the challenges that you faced, and tell us a little bit about that.
So when we moved out of the academy, my first posting was at Kochi, which was again a Coast Guard training center. So moving from one training center, which was the largest, and now moving to Coast Guard Training Center. And also we have a district headquarters in Kochi, which is extremely busy. For example, there are a lot of commissioning of the ships which happen. So there's a lot of movement and a lot of training which happens over there. So coming from a training, being a trainee, and then coming to a place where you have to train. So that was like, how am I going to do it? It's just within 2 weeks, you get your appointment letter, you move to a new place and your role switch. You are from this side, you go to that side, and that really switch. And that is a time when I understood, it is going to be very challenging. I have to pick up the things very, very fast, because you become an inspiration for the younger generation who are coming. They learn from you. Once a new officer comes and they comes up to you and they just say that I really like the way you handle the roles and responsibilities. It really makes your day. It actually changes you. So I'm fortunate enough. I have got really good seniors and mentors who have actually guided me and told me that how things should be done, and you should always structure it, that what is important, what is to be done right now, and what can be shifted later. So that situations have really helped. And I think so in a setup of armed forces, your seniors, your commanding officers play a very important role, in assessing you that what is the best you can do. And they're very good in that. And that is how my transition from a trainee to a trainer, it happened. And that was a fantastic time, though I was just there for 1 year and I moved to headquarters early. But yes, to prepare yourself to operate on such, emergency situations, it was amazing. Yes, yes.
So nice, so nice. And then you became the first lady deputy officer in charge at MRCC Mumbai. So first tell us what is the full form. I've Googled it, but for our audience, please tell us what is the full form of MRCC and how did you prepare yourself for such a critical position?
Okay, before I tell how I prepared myself, I'll give you information about MRCC, which is a Maritime Rescue Coordination Center, and how the nations gave birth to Maritime Rescue Coordination Center. So every one of us has heard about the tragic incident of 1912 RMS Titanic, which was considered an engineering marvel and was thought that it will never sink. But it went down. It went down with 1,500 people, and 1,500 lives were lost. And it was not that the ship has sunk, but also because there was no Mayday communication in the real time to the right agencies. So
Okay.
when the help came, the disaster has already happened. There was a lapse of time. If the information would have reached the agencies on time, maybe they would have been saved on real time. The information passing of that real time didn't happen, and that tragedy has actually shook the humanity. So in 1914, 1914, nations came together. They came up with the International Convention for Safety of Life at Sea, which we call as SOLAS. So that was the first commitment of nations to save lives at sea. And as we move forward from 1914, the shipping traffic increased, and also the technology was improving because a lot of import export started happening, and everything started increasing in the maritime sector. So what happened in 1979, again an international convention on maritime search and rescue was formed, which we call as STAR convention. So the world created a structure which gave birth maritime rescue coordination centers and joint rescue coordination centers. So like, there is always somebody who's listening to your Mayday call on a phone. So they will definitely listen to it and come to you. So this whole journey started from RMS Titanic, 1912. 1914, we had SOLAS. And in 1979, we have that SAR convention. But it took India to adopt it after more than 20 years. Like in 2001, India acceded to this SAR convention. And yes, and in 2002, India has made a National Maritime Search and Rescue Board, and the chairman was headed by Coast Guard Director General.
Okay.
Yes. And since then, Indian Coast Guard has been designated, you can say, as a national authority for search and rescue across the Indian maritime search and rescue area, which is almost 4.6 square kilometers, and which is coordinated by 3 MRCCs. On West Coast, there is Mumbai. On the East Coast, it's Chennai. And in Andaman and Nicobar region, it is there. So it is divided in this way, like, because it's a huge area. How will you be able to focus? And you have many states, districts, talukas, and coast mein hota hai ki fishermen, they venture out without any safety, without any emergency equipments. And when you receive their Mayday, it's too late. So,
and they're very small boats, so it's easy for them to get lost.
Yes. So I'm just telling you the timeline. So since 2002, Indian Coast Guard has been designated for such roles and responsibilities, and wherein the MRCC came into play, and it was set up, and since then it is working with the communities of fishermen, educating them, educating merchant navy and marine sector about their safety, about their emergency responses, about what happens, making a community of helping them if they are in distress at sea. So since then, it has been maritime rescue coordination centers. The duty watch standards have been the unsung hero in providing protection at sea. And this is how the entire Maritime Rescue Coordination Center works. Now, coming to how do Maritime Rescue Coordination Center receives the alerts. So we have coastal radio stations, coastal earth stations, we have ships, we have aircrafts, and also there are some communities. So like what happens when, for example, a fisherman is venturing out in a sea, so 4 to 5 boats go together. So they give the entire when they are going, when they will be coming to the marine police and to the exiting ports. And also because DG shipping, the masters are under them, and we have various stakeholders. So we coordinate, we exchange information, and that is how we keep a check on their safety.
Right.
And by chance, if something happens, we are able to, launch the emergency response on the go.
Correct. Fabulous. So thank you for, explaining the entire thing about MRCC. Now tell us, what is your typical day at MRCC? Like, how do you start? How do you, like, you talked about your training days starting at 5 in the morning till 12. Tell us about your day at MRCC.
The day at MRCC, I'll just give you an example of how the days I joined in, and it was just starting of the monsoon. I've joined in the June, so I just had my introduction to the team, how the charter of duties are there. So I made use the equipment, the radio stations and everything to communicate, and I was just getting onto the beat of the rescue coordination center. And on the very second day, we got a mayday at around night 12 o'clock, which I categorically remember. That was my first search and rescue operation of MV Jindal Kamakshi. So that was the time when we understood, what mental state a master goes through when the ship has, gone through a heavy listing, and it has already, there's no situation wherein he can take out the ship. And it is flooding, the ship is flooding, and I've seen master crying. And I was like, oh my God, this is something huge. And, I think so during that time, because the weather was brutal, there was heavy rain, the monsoon has already picked up, and there was almost, night time, and at night we don't do night flying. So sending them the first rescue was in the first light when the choppers would be ready. And so, the Chetaks were launched. Nearly all the crew was told to come to a safe place where they can be airlifted. And all the 20 members, including the captain, they were saved and they were brought to our station at Coast Guard in Daman. So that was my second day, and I understood, my God, your decision can lead to, life and loss.
Right.
So to operate in maritime rescue coordination centers, they are not 1, 2, or 3. They are parallelly 4 to 5 cases of different levels. You can say that which is uncertainty phase, which needs your immediate attention. Because sometimes information comes to you, and later on when you call back, it is like it was by mistake.
False alarm.
It was a false alarm. So I'll just narrate you an incident wherein Indian Coast Guard always in the fish, they always have community interactions with fishermen, and they distribute free of cost distress alert transmitters to them, and they request them whenever you're going, you just take them along with you. It's a dark orange color equipment. It works on a different frequency, designated frequency, and take them. So we got an alert. And that alert was not coming from the sea, not from the maritime area. It was coming from the land. So we activated ourselves, and we told the person and representative to go and find out in that location what is happening. And we found out that the fisherman community, the fisherman, whosoever is the owner of that boat, he has kept that distress alert transmitter at home, and his child is playing with it. And we have got the distress. And see, at our mind, so many, thoughts would have come, so many assets have been activated, and so many people have taken that pain. But making them understand that how important is their safety. But for them, it is. So you have to psychologically tell them how important is your safety. When we came back, we got to know that the child was playing with the dad. And again, in the next community interaction, we kind of told them that this is what the cases are coming to us. They are the set of false alarm. And that is how, So many peoples are involved around a search and rescue operation, and when the true alarm will come, that will always affect that. So we keep on sensitizing them that, how things has to be, how important is your safety when you're venturing out in the sea. And it's not only them, it's their family which is affected. They are the sole bread winner of that whole place. So when you get a call from them, once I got a call from them that saying, thank you for saving my son. So, that really, was something like, I was like, this is what I wanted to do. That is my calling. Right. Thank you to Coast Guard for giving me that opportunity wherein I was able to save lives, though the situations are very different. Maybe it was not that like MV Jindal Kamakshi, wherein there was a brutal, heavy listing and the weather was very bad and all. But similarly, that fisherman. So that really, changed your mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. So coming to where you have saved lives, so 1,400 lives you have helped save. So tell us about how you coordinated this thing, what happened. Tell us the entire story. We're listening.
So this 1,400 lives are in a span of more than 5 years. So mostly I would just like to bring upon this point wherein when we have heavy monsoons, the number of such cases increase in MRCC. And, there is a kind of a pre-PANS which we call any ship which is coming in Indian waters, they are supposed to send a pre-arrival notification to DG Shipping and to MRCC. DG Shipping has a very clear circular that whenever you are entering into Indian waters, you have to send the PANS to us and to Indian Coast Guard. So that is how we monitor the vessels. And in that way, when they send us the PANS, in the reply, we send them a check-off list wherein what they have to follow when they're coming into Indian waters. So when they're coming in, the Indian waters, how they have to maintain their security when they're going to the ports, how they need to be, ready for the monsoons because it will be, the rains will be there, winds will be high, or equipments can go, there can be some technical snag and all. So you be prepared about it. And there are set of regulations which we tell them, which we made them aware about the entire, maritime region which is there under India. So apprising them, if they say they are not aware about it, we apprise them and we tell them. And then it is about how our days at Maritime Rescue Coordination Center happens. The distress calls, for example, it comes from one of the earth stations, which we call it comes on 406. So aircraft has ELT, which is emergency locator transmitter, and ships has EPIRB, which is emergency positioning indicating radio beacon. So both of them operate on a same frequency, which is 406 hertz. So we just tell them, कि अगर उसका कुछ हमें distress alert आया, receive आया, so we immediately contact the owner. So it is always registered. There is a beautiful setup of establishment system is set up by ISRO, wherein you need to register your emergency beacons and the number of the owner will be there, and we call them and ask them how about the situations. So there are some situations when the monsoons are there and the ship is listing and the water gets in touch with the EPIRB and the false alert generates.
Oh, okay.
So, parallelly, there is not 1, 2 or 3, there are almost 10 to 15 cases which are running round the clock, 24/7. And you have to identify the uncertainty. You have to be aware, you have to plan, and, that
but you can never ignore. Like,
you cannot. You have to go.
But you can never ignore. Correct.
Yes. But it takes time and effort, and the assets and inventories which are involved, the stakeholders which are involved. So that is also and the master is not aware. Master is not aware that that EPIRB is sending signals, and that is how we are getting the distress signal. And maybe because of the heavy rains or because of the bad monsoon, they are also not aware.
Right.
So so that is a whole cycle. So like 4 to 5 months is sleepless. So
Absolutely. This must have been crazy.
yes, yes. So the environment is high pressure. You are always on the toes, and there are very different cases which come across to us. And definitely, I would like to now bring upon my book, The Sea Within, which I have written. So I've got a beautiful case in that. And yes, definitely, MRCC is never sleeping. It is always listening to the calls of the people who are in distress and who are in uncertainty phase of distress.
Absolutely, absolutely. Wow. So at this point in time, I'd like to ask you, you mentioned high pressure atmosphere all the time on your toes. So what effect does it have on your mental health? Because as you know, I'm a mental health facilitator and you're always in a cortisol overdrive. So what methods or tools do you use? I'm sure the training of 52 weeks helps you and has prepared you, the drills and everything that you've done. But what prepares you on a day-to-day basis? I'm sure all this doesn't come in your training, these false alarms and all, or do they? Also, please enlighten us on that. So tell us, how do you keep your cool or keep yourself, calm?
So as you said, the more you sweat in your training, the less you bleed in the war. So
Wow.
it has been, kind of played in your mind so many times that you get used to that rhythm.
Okay.
And always whenever there is, because we are saving lives, and it is not only Indians, it is of international nationalities also. So there are set of conventions, international conventions, wherein there is a check-off list. So
Right.
we always have those protocols. We always, follow by them. And there are some times, as you spoke about mental health, you get so fatigued because once you have solved one case and you have some takeaways, it is not important that those takeaways will be applied to the next case always. The situations are same, सब कुछ same है, मतलब सब situation same है, सब कुछ है, but जो आपने उस previous case से learn करा, it will not apply to that, and that is a time when think about it, and the check off list also don't match with sometimes what to do about it,
Right.
and that is a
Right.
time your training, your seniors come into this experience of they speaks louder, and that is how as a team we work, and we find out what could be the situation, and we have SAR stages like my mentor and my Commandant NV Ramarao, I must take his name because he is the one who has pioneered the maritime search and rescue coordination centers in Coast Guard, and definitely for India. He has set up the MRCCs in all the three places, and he has also got the approval for the 36 maritime rescue sub-centers. So,
Wow.
there is a lot of work which has been done previously, and that is passed on to us, that, how you need to manage. And, if somebody is there to tell you and guide you and tell you this situation will pass and just keep on doing that, because one principle which he has always taught us, keep on training, keep on training yourself, keep on learning. In the morning we have so many consoles, we have ISN, navtex, and technology is changing in an year. We have automatic identifications, we have NAIS, then we have lot of consoles and lot of technology with us, and we are also kind of contacting parties to lot of nations for reporting a lot of things which are happening in Indian maritime sectors.
Right.
So this is the mental health is definitely get affected. You get less sleep, and you are not able to sometimes you get that brain fog that matlab, the situation is so high tense, and now you have to make sure that the people who are there in distress, we reach out to them and bring them home as early as possible. But yes, as you say, we have our seniors to guide us, and when you have been into that operation, you always try to maintain that calm in that chaos. because you have seen it, you have lived it,
Right.
and again you are living that cycle, but in a different situation. So that really helps. And sometimes, yes, we speak to our counterparts. We always make sure that the duty watch standards who are, and in some cases we do talk to duty watch standards of different countries. We take how they are doing it, and when you talk to them, you feel good. So there is a community who are behind the consoles, quietly
Very
listening
important.
and sharing information and coordinating and telling you what all can be possible, and you telling them that what it is and how you can coordinate it better. So I think so
Right.
that challenging part as a team, when you move together, it gets solved easily when you are in such a tough situation of life saving and emergency responses.
Absolutely. Fabulously said. Okay. Now we come to where you have coordinated very, very high stake missions, like like I read in your introduction, 35 billion rupees. Pawan Hans. So tell us a little bit. First, we'll do the narcotics, and then we can go on to Pawan Hans.
Yes, yes. So I remember it was in year 2017. The name of that vessel was MV Henry, and we had got an intelligence that there is some narcotics on board, and we were monitoring it on our AIS, and then we found a very different and difficult pattern. So on and off, it was switching off its AIS. AIS is automatic identification system. So like when you are when you are on the sea. So like, have you seen flight radar?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you log on to flight radar, you can see where your aircraft is going. So
Right.
yeah, it's mandatory for them to switch on their AIS. Similarly, for ships which are maneuvering in the Indian maritime or anywhere in the world, it is compulsory for them to switch on their AIS so that their route can be found.
Correct.
So there was a very different pattern which the merchant vessel was following. It was switching off its AIS now and then, and it was spoofing its name. It was changing its name multiple times. So I would not say there was a lot of stakeholders which were involved in this whole operation. It is not done by a single person. There are a lot of stakeholders which get involved. You get the intelligence, you get to understand the assets are utilized, they are launched, and they're sailed, and to verify what it is. And then when we spoke to the master, they said that this ship is going to for shipbreaking to shipbreaking yard, and it's going for shipbreaking. So this is the last time we are having a sale. So the way the master was saying, everything was there, the papers were correct, everything was correct, but still we had that doubt, and we called on to the harbor master, we spoke to them, and already the Coast Guard ships were there, and our team just went there and they boarded it, and they had done the boarding operation, and they found 1,500 kg of narcotics, which was in 2017 the largest catch of Coast Guard. So everybody had played a very important role, and that's a different pattern. When you are in that sector for a long time, you understand the intention of that ship, what is going to do and what is right and wrong.
Right.
So I think
Right.
during that time, our entire team had been, had located that hidden narcotics which were there in their pipes, rusted pipes, which you will not even think, and it was available. So that was a huge thing, which happens as a team. The stakeholders come together and they execute, implement, and final mission conclusion comes out.
Fabulous.
And then, as you said about the Pawan Hans, the tragic incident of Pawan Hans, it was on 4th December 2015. I remember the dates. I don't know why, because they're very important case which make me understand that how easy we take life, and in a fraction of seconds, it's gone. So the Pawan Hans was flying over Mumbai High, and it had a tragic incident where there is a Ron Tapmere oil rig there. So they had to, they were taking off from there, and the helicopter ditched in the water. So when such situations happen, and that was a night sortie, and when some situations like this happens, the chances of survival, especially of a chopper, is very, very less, very, very less. And we have got the Earth station location from approximately 2 to 3 locations, latitudes and longitudes. Sorry, the entire area. So we wanted to understand that whether it has ditched in this part or it has ditched in this part. So like the aircraft must have fragmented and it has moved with the underwater currents, and the PLBs and the ELTs must have divided, and the blip was coming from one region and the blip was coming from another region. So even if you want to save lives, which location, you know? So,
Yes.
the sad part was we were not able to save the lives, but we were able to take out the bodies of that. And that situation, and we tried to figure out how it would have happened, because these are the everyday sorties which are happening in oil rig or anywhere in the night sortie. And because the whole crew, they are so seasoned,
Yes.
so was there a technical snag or whatever the study would have been. So when such situation comes and you get to know that lives are lost, and it is very difficult to find out that exact position for which you are sitting there, so it becomes difficult. So we found out, it took us almost 5 days, I think so, yes, fourth and ninth, we were able to retrieve that entire helicopter, Pawan Hans helicopter,
Okay.
and we could make that case solved. Yeah.
Right. My father, Atul Raizada, says, Ms. Bhatnagar, it is wonderful that the Coast Guard is very alert to any emergency at sea. So
Thank
yes,
you.
we are hearing about a lot of cases. Okay. During your time, like I read in your introduction, that the maritime at Mars, the piracy incidents went down by percent. So what did you do? You were like the Kadak lady officer that, how you watch in the Hindi films that they, despite that one police officer, what, Singham or something, कि वो, ना खाने देता है, ना खाता है खुद. So is it, so tell us a little bit about that time. How did you help reduce this piracy incidents?
So I would just like to give an overview that India has not seen any piracy cases. It is just the international communities and things like that which has forced upon to us that this thing happens. It's a very petty theft and robbery which may happen. Sometimes the rope is lost, or sometimes the crew itself is, has taken it and said the port
Right.
authority is not,
Yeah.
the securities are not high. So
Right.
as I told you, India is a contracting member to RECAP, which is a regional cooperation agreement on combating piracy and armed robbery against ship in Asia. So we are a party to that, and we are a member of that. And MRCC is the focal point for sharing information of any such incident in the Indian coasts. So what happens when the ship comes and is there at the port? There is a kind of a security system which has. I will be telling you in a very layman because the audience will be.
Of course.
So अगर आप अपना घर भी छोड़ के जाते हो तो आप ताला लगा के जाते हो या फिर आप किसी को बोल के जाते हो, सब होना चाहिए. So like I understand the people who are coming from outside, they want to visit the state, they want to enjoy the local cuisine and culture, and the security level is very, very poor. And somehow they report this internationally that my rope is missing, some part of my ship is missing, without even speaking to the port masters who are there, that they can even help you. So what we have done, we had set up a system wherein whenever a ship, when we told you that they send us pans, we give them a detail that if you're going to this port, what security level should be your ship in. You should have 2 people on board, and what time to what time it should be there. And we have leveled it up in all the ports across India. So basically, the kind of information we have spread, we have sensitized them, and we have told them regularly, like a woodpecker, we have been telling them, keep on doing this, keep on doing this. When you're coming to a foreign land, you need to be aware about your circumstances and everything, it's always been a very, like, it's not even an armed robbery, it's just a theft, and you're reporting that into a piracy thing, which is actually tarnishing the image of India. These things have already been happening across the world where the shipping industry is there, and all these things happen, but it's not, reported in such a way because they're developed nations. So now what we have done, we have maintained a mechanism where every day we used to, send them email, and we used to call the master, and we used to tell the harbor master. So we have made a kind of a network and mechanism where they cannot run away or shy away from their own responsibilities. It is for the both of the sides. So we have to make them aware, because they are not aware how our image is going, and we are not doing anything. There is nothing called as piracy or something. So in the year, in India, I'm telling about India. So in 2017, actually, recap saw a sharp decline in reports of piracy and armed robbery incident in Indian waters, and which was like only one. And earlier there used to be so much, and now it has drastically reduced, and it was all in public domain that recap has highlighted that Coast Guard has done tremendous effort in reducing that kind of, which they say as spicy, which was hardly not even armed robbery, but a small theft. And that, really make a difference. People got to know what should they be doing when they come to the ports of foreign countries, how it should be there. So I think so exchange of information was very important. And during that time also, they were also learning, we were also learning. And because you are just reporting something just because your own crew has taken that, it's not right. So we get on to that everything, marine police go, they check, they report. So there's a lot of stakeholders, as I said, are involved. So we need to sensitize. It is not that only sensitize the merchant vessels. We need to sensitize the authorities, our stakeholders, and also the fishermen, and whatever things is possible for us to mitigate and reduce that. So that was what MRCC did, and it has been happening for a long time. Maybe when I joined in 2015 and 17. The news came because we were quite active. But if you remember, so there is high risk area also. So like in 2000, in early 2000, the Somalian piracy and all that was there. So India भी चपेट में आ गई थी HRA के, जबकि यहाँ पे कुछ नहीं होता था. So like they extended the high risk areas to Indian waters.
Oh,
so yes. So and the law keepers and everybody who were there, they were like, there is nothing like that. Why you want to extend the area to Indian waters? We are quite safe. And there's a whole story about it. So like India pushed the high risk areas, and now we are free of high risk areas, and you can venture out Indian waters. So there are very big milestones which India has achieved. The maritime law keepers and law enforcement agencies have pushed that this is a place wherein we have good coordinated intelligence efforts, and we have everything, mechanism and systems in place. So that is how that contributed to reduce in so-called things. But yes, Coast Guard was acknowledged for its tremendous efforts.
Okay, Abhinav Saxena says really great information and insights. And hi everybody that have stayed through. Okay, next one. You've received all 3 commendations in the Coast Guard, a rare hat trick. So what do these recognitions represent you personally? This is such an achievement, Chandni, and at such a young age. I'm sure you did everybody close to you proud, and of course your nation and the coast. Tell us a little bit about that.
I really feel thankful to my seniors, to the system who had the belief and trust in me. So, I've always learned, that whatever time you are giving to anything, it never goes wasted. How much time of training you are doing, or how much number of cases you are solving, everyone is watching that. and how much heart and purpose, heart you have given to the whole system, and how much purpose driven you are. So I think so that was recognized, and that is how I was, patted by my seniors and the system.
Okay, fabulous. That is so nice. Now you're coming to your book, The Sea Within. Let's hold it up for everybody.
Yeah, yeah, yes.
The Sea Within. I'm going to take a snapshot of it when this thing finishes. Everybody, this is available on. Go get it and tell us a little bit about and the time and tide. What inspired you to write?
I think so. I wanted to write for a long time because I've lived through so many cases and incidents wherein when I used to meet people, they were not aware about it. I was like, how can I dissipate this information to make them make them understand how difficult, maritime sector is. You have to go through emotional, physical, mental stress, and they're a major part of our running our economy. So like obviously the imports, exports, and everything, and very less people knows it because maybe they are not into that sector, but how that sector operates. And because I have seen closely that how difficult it is for the crew and the master to be on the ship for 4 5 months, and even during COVID time they were stuck. So when there are important events which are happening in their life, and they miss out onto that, what kind of stress level, what kind of a shift they may experience, and they're not doing it purposely, they're just doing it because they are working, and their family may sometimes, you are not available when we are reaching our milestone. So that kind of guilt also sinks into them. And now coming to this book, I have wrote a very important story about the coordination of 9 maritime rescue coordination centers across the world. I would just, if you permit me, I will just read out something
Sure, please.
About MRCC, how important it has been in the lives of the seafarer. And because in India still अभी हम लोग जैसे families वगैरह surfing पे या फिर it is picking up, but yachts पे, personal yachts पे नहीं घूमने जाते. But in developed countries काफी चीजें ऐसी होती हैं जो families अपने yacht लेके they go in the seas and enjoy. So that kind of safety which they feel, because they know that there is something called as maritime rescue coordination centers, and which will always be there to help us, if in case we are in distress. So I'll just read out the last paragraph about maritime rescue coordination centers. They are the unsung guardians of the sea. They don't ride waves or brave storms physically, but they move mountains from the console. They listen to distress begin even in the dead of night. They calculate drift in unpredictable waters during inclement weather and guide sailing vessels like chess pieces across thousands of nautical miles. All to save people they are never likely to meet. They are quite literally the calm in the chaos, the silent guardians of the ocean.
So beautiful, so beautiful. That is really nice. So is this a book also available on Amazon?
Yes, it is available on the Amazon, and I'll send you the link. You can just post it below when you post the live.
Sure.
It's available. Absolutely. And my second book, Time and Tide, which is there, it also speaks about uniform, my uniform, women in uniform, how I, the charm of uniform led me to, join the armed forces, and how wearing that uniform, I could receive the prestigious award given by the Chief Minister of Delhi. So it's a journey of a lady in uniform and motivating other ladies to join uniform and enjoy that voyage.
Awesome, absolutely awesome. I think your DP also is somewhere I've seen that you're receiving that honor in your uniform, which makes me so proud of you, Chandni. Fabulous, well done.
Thank you.
Okay. So when you look back at your journey, a young girl without any defense, so what do you feel like having achieved all these years in the from like to a decorated and a celebrated Coast Guard officer, what is that one message that you will give to your listeners? Sorry.
I would
Please go
just,
on. Please go on.
yeah, I would just like to tell them, dream big, because dream don't work unless you do, and you need to have that plan in your mind. So whenever we have that search and rescue, we always have search and rescue stages, which is like IPOC awareness is one initial action. Then you have the planning, the operation, and the conclusion. So always do have dreams, but always have your preparation along with, always have those star stages, which I've told you. And I think so nothing can stop you. You will
Yeah.
meet your, destiny, and you will achieve whatever you want to achieve.
So beautiful, so beautiful. So, what is one again message like for young girls that are aspiring to, join the armed forces or the marine, yeah, navy or coast guard and all that? How will you? What is the one message that you will help them that they can actually prepare themselves for this field?
I would just tell them that work hard, be purpose driven, always make sure that you have a purpose to serve your nation, and
Right.
everything will come aligned. And this is something a maritime sector has a lot of opportunity. The coming times also, yesterday, the Raksha Mantri has announced that there will be more of shipbuilding in India. So this is a sector which is further going to grow, and it has a lot of scope, and definitely. Because we have a very less women workforce in maritime sector. If you see, it's not even 10%, less than that. So once when you get to a situation where you feel very less women venture out, so already what happens in the mindset, they say ki, I think so there are very less women, I will take a seat back, I'll put that dream of mine in back burner. It's not like
Right.
that. Definitely, it's not like that. You will get a lot of opportunities if you're purpose driven, you're hardworking, and you know that you have the competency. That definitely you will achieve it.
Just one more comment I want to read by Atul Raizada. Have been involved in ISPS. I appreciate the Coast Guard's work as an ex-Lloyd surveyor, and also we're very proud of you, your recognition, Deepa Atul. And yes,
Thank
so
you.
cool. Okay, one more thing I want to know is when you're speaking about working hard, tell me about the entrance exams, like what field that they need to be in, like arts, comms, what field they can actually, girls and boys, how does one get into this um, field?
So yes, when I joined the Indian Armed Forces, it was strictly the science stream. So it
Okay,
was but later on, the government has actually changed it. So like people of all streams can apply to it with a certain percentage, and they can
all
get
right.
into. There's a threshold percentage wherein you can apply through that. So it keeps on changing, but at present you can apply in any stream, and the mark should be that aggregate should be there. So,
All right. So this
so
is after the 12th or after graduation?
for officers, it is after graduation,
Okay.
and for sailor entry, it is after 10th and 12th.
Okay. Both.
Yeah.
Both like. All right.
Yes.
Okay, so the younger generation today places a greater emphasis on mental well-being and balanced lifestyles. We were just talking about a little while ago, and selective social environment. So, in light of these evolving priorities and visible decline of interest in maritime careers, what is your perspective on why fewer younger people are choosing this field?
Life at sea is a test of your courage, your skill, and endurance. It's not a easy cakewalk. But once you're into it, you are a personality which everybody would likes to move with.
Correct.
When because I have a lot of my friends, they visit so many countries, they have friends across the world with different nationalities, and you are exposed to so much of situations, cultures, and traditions. You are the walking kind of a dictionary of how a people can behave in different places. And also, if you see through how much physical and emotional and physical stress they go through. But now today's, there is much focus on mental well-being and a balanced lifestyle. And हम लोग इसमें नहीं जाएंगे क्योंकि बहुत stress है. It's not like that. It's it's an honor to work in this space, especially the maritime professionals, and they are a big support to the economy, because they are running it, and they are putting their lives at stake, not meeting their families, and moving in shifts for not days or weeks but months. So that kind of a change we need to see in the new generation which is coming up, because earlier they see that there's a lot of monetary benefits. You get paid well and everything, they do come in, and then after 5 years or 6 years they understand this is not my calling, because it is about courage, skill, and endurance, as I said, because it really, being a master of a ship is not an easy task. You have to go through so much of things, so much of situations, so much of emergencies and distress, and and obviously the situation in maritime sector is that the ship, the master, it takes the well care of the whole crew. He is the backbone of the seas and the successful missions, wherein there have been situations wherein we have awarded masters for saving so many lives. Every year Indian Coast Guard has an award ceremony wherein we call on different masters who have helped us in saving lives at sea. So it is an honor to be in that position, and considering it that it is stressful, or our mental well-being, it is in any job. You go in any job, if you have that kind of setup, you will always feel that you are you are not able to keep up with your balanced lifestyle or the mental well-being. But yes, maritime sector is something which makes you a living legend full of stories.
I'm sure, absolutely. It's been such a pleasure, Chandni, to hear such beautiful stories of valor, and I'm just so honored to be here on this platform with you. You have won accolades for this, and I wish you all the very best. And I hope a lot of children, a lot of young people, young minds are inspired by this talk of ours. And absolutely, this is wonderful. So everybody watching this podcast, please follow our channel, that is the paradigmshift.co, which brings you stories of that that inspire other people for the betterment of the society and self. And also, everybody coming from the paradigm shift, please follow Chandni _ Bhatnagar. I'm sure she's going to be putting up a lot of stories of valor, and wishing you all the very best for the life to come. And thank you so much for doing this with us.
Thank you so much, Deepshika, for having me. It's wonderful to be there and to make such a paradigm shift in the mental wellness of the people. It is a calling, nowadays the younger generation is so sensitive to things, and making them wear that kind of a jacket that everything is well, and how you can cope up with that coping stress, and those mechanisms really help and will help all of us in coming together in distress.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, and have a good day, everyone. See you. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Chandni.